Have you ever listened to a health podcast, watched a fitness video, or read an article and somehow ended up feeling worse about yourself afterward? Not because the advice was bad, but because suddenly you were thinking about all the things you aren't doing. You're not tracking your sleep, you're not eating enough protein, you're not strength training enough, you're not getting enough steps, you're not doing mobility work, you're not meditating. Well, at one point I realised I'd become completely over health educated, over podcasted, over TED talked, and honestly, overwhelmed. I was consuming so much information about health, longevity, hormones, strength training, nutrition, mobility, recovery, fasting, inflammation, supplements, cold plunges, sleep optimization, that instead of feeling empowered, I noticed I was starting to feel anxious. And the strange part is, I work in this industry. So if I was feeling overwhelmed by all of it, I knew other people probably were too, because somewhere along the way, health stopped feeling simple and better stopped feeling good enough. Information is supposed to help us take action, but sometimes too much information actually creates inaction instead. Now, there's research around this idea. Behaviour science has shown that when people feel overwhelmed by too many choices, too much complexity, or too many right answers, they often become less likely to act at all. Yes. Analysis paralysis is real, and I think we see it everywhere in health and fitness right now. People feel like if they can't do the perfect workout, follow the perfect nutrition plan, take the perfect supplements, track the perfect metrics, then somehow it barely counts. So instead of doing something, they end up doing nothing. And I completely understand the feeling. I've also noticed something else. The more health content I consumed, the more aware I became of everything I wasn't doing. I wasn't tracking my glucose. I wasn't meditating enough. I wasn't getting perfect sleep. I wasn't eating enough protein. I wasn't doing mobility every single day. I wasn't sitting in zone 2 for cardio. And slowly, without even realising it, I started focusing more on all the things I should be doing instead of feeling good about all the healthy things I already was doing. Now, that's not a peaceful way to live, and I don't think I'm alone in that, because when health starts creating more stress than support, something has gone sideways. At one point, I decided I needed to go on what I jokingly call an information diet. Not because information is bad, I love learning, but I had become so over-podcasted, over-TED talked, and over-informed that I was starting to feel anxious instead of empowered. And social media doesn't always help. The moment you show interest in one health topic, the algorithm often gives you more of it, a lot more of it. Before long, it can start to feel like everyone is talking about glucose monitoring or cold plunges or zone 2 cardio or longevity supplements. Whatever the topic happens to be that week, and I get it, sometimes things almost must sound extreme to get attention online, but I realised I was binge consuming ideas instead of building healthy habits. And just like how a balanced diet tends to work better than binge eating one food, I think a balanced information diet works better too. So for a while, I stopped chasing every new idea and started focusing on consistently doing a few things I already knew were good for me. And honestly, sometimes the healthiest thing I did wasn't adding another habit. It was subtracting another source of health advice. One thing I've learned over the years is this: something is almost always better than nothing. A walk still counts. 2 strength workouts a week still matter. Going to bed a little earlier still matters. Drinking more water still matters. You do not need a perfect wellness routine for your body to benefit. And I think sometimes we dramatically underestimate how powerful simple, repeatable behaviours really are, especially when we do them consistently. Momentum is a powerful thing. Most healthy habits don't begin with a major life overhaul. They begin with one small action that makes the next action easier. If you're looking for a simple place to start, MOSSA On Demand can help. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out the perfect workout, you can choose from hundreds of guided workouts led by expert coaches and just press play. We'll include a link below where you can start a free trial and explore the workouts for yourself. The funny thing is that most of the things that truly move the needle for long-term health are actually pretty unsexy. Move your body regularly, strength train a couple of times a week, sleep reasonably well, manage stress as best you can, eat mostly nourishing foods, stay connected to people. It's not flashy. It probably won't become a viral podcast clip, but the basics still work. And in many ways, I think the fitness and wellness industry contribute to people forgetting that. I've started asking myself a different question lately. At what point does optimizing your health start interfering with your ability to actually enjoy your life? Because I don't think the goal of health is to spend every waking minute trying to become a perfectly optimized human. The goal is to feel well enough physically, mentally, and emotionally to fully participate in your life, to have energy, capability, resilience, to experience joy. Health should support your life, not consume it. And this is one of the things I appreciate about MOSSA programs. We try to make exercise feel simpler and more accessible. Show up and move your body. Sometimes that's enough because people are exhausted from feeling like every health decision must be perfectly optimized. Programs like Group Power take out the strength guesswork. Group Synergy takes out the mobility guesswork. Group Fight and Group Blast help you check the cardio box. You don't have to figure everything out yourself. You can just move. And if you consistently show up and work out a few times a week, I'd call that a huge win. And if you'd like to experience that for yourself, visit our program locator and find a MOSSA workout on the group fitness schedule and show up. Many facilities will even let you try your first class for free. A great instructor, motivating music, less guesswork, just show up and move. We'll include a link below to help you get started. If health and fitness have started feeling overwhelming lately, this is your reminder. And honestly, a reminder to me too. You do not need to do everything. You do not need the perfect routine, the perfect supplements, the perfect data, the perfect protocol. You need sustainable behaviours that support your body and your life. And maybe a little less pressure, because health isn't supposed to feel like a full-time job. So maybe the answer isn't doing more and more and more. Maybe it's coming back to what actually matters: movement, strength, sleep, nutrition, connection, and doing those things consistently. Because small things done consistently still change lives. And maybe we'd all feel a little healthier if we stopped focusing so much on everything we aren't doing and started giving ourselves more credit for the healthy things we already are. I'd love to know, what's one piece of health or fitness advice you've heard recently that left you feeling more overwhelmed than empowered? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, simple, practical ways to make exercise work in real life, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next video.